And the number one thing that is just going to transform your game, you see the best players do it, Hogan did it, is getting your arms set correctly at address. Here's the kicker, this is the great one, trail arm. Point your palm away from you, bring it across. You can see the bicep, elbow pit pointing in front of me. Keep the arm in that position and then bring your hand back. Now, whose arm structure does that look like? Hogan.
Mr. Hogan, yeah. The pit of the lead arm pointing 45 is such a good reference point. Having the arm and shaft in a line, but that right trail arm with this elbow pit pointed away.
And the great thing is, with my arm in this position, if I fold it, it stays in front of me. My arm's this way, goes behind me. How many times do you see that?
It's dropping bombs. Come on. Yeah, beauty, dude. Really nice. Okay, Giles, so the pro golfers compared to the amateur golfer, one of the things that the pros or the better ball strikers do at impact is they all have good shaft lean. They're all able to strike ball first, ground second. A lot of the amateurs we work with, this might be you watching, really struggle with that. They struggle to get shaft lean and compress the ball, and we all want to hit it solid day in and day out. Now, there's one thing that we know that we're going to talk about in today's video that dictates whether or not the player will be able to get shaft lean. The cool part about today's video is there's two little controlling factors of that one thing that if you can do them good earlier on the swing will make your life so much easier later on. With that said, starting with the setup pieces, I guess, what is that one really key important thing for shaft lean? And then let's go through the setup stuff.
For sure, and I think what we sort of tapped on there is the fact that we're trying to make life as easy as possible for us by fixing stuff early. The earlier we can do things, the less manipulations we have. And that is kind of the secret that pros know that amateurs don't, is that it's all done in the prep. It's all done in the early work, which therefore...
They sort of unknowingly know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they do those things well.
Because a lot, you ask DJ, he just steps up and hit it, right?
Sure,
But he's got all the factors right. So the key thing for shaft lean is a variable. If I was to hold the club there and push the handle forwards, it actually angles the face off to the right. So if you want to be able to have shaft lean, you actually need to have the club face slightly closed to the shaft right there as it comes down. Then you push your hands forward and boom, you've got shaft lean. So a nice little way of demonstrating this is just grab the club without gripping it, just twist it in slightly to like maybe 1 o'clock on a clock or 11 o'clock on a clock face. As I then bring it down, if I want to get that face square, I'm just going to move that handle forwards and look, the face has now gone to square. So now that we know that, now we've got to build this in as easy as possible. And the number one thing that is just going to transform your game, you see the best players do it, Hogan did it, is getting your arms set correctly at address. If you do that, you're going to effortlessly release the face, effortlessly square it up, control club face, all of that wonderful stuff.
And I think inherently, like we just went through that. I think some of you watching kind of maybe knew that, maybe didn't. It's really important to understand that little piece that do the shaft lean again. When he pushes the shaft forward, that's going to make the face point more to the right, this side, or open for a right-handed golfer. So we have to get the club face closed to that arc, to the path, to the shaft. We have to get it closed in order to be able to get that shaft lean. That is a non-negotiable thing in the golf swing. It's so important there. I hope, because we say that so simply, it's easy to like skip over that. It's so important. Now with the setup pieces you just mentioned, how do we set that up to be in a good spot there?
Perfect. So an analogy that I love is a steering wheel analogy. So you can grab a Frisbee, a plate, even one of the baskets down on the driving range, and imagine you're holding it in front of yourself, just like so. And I've got my thumbs pointing up. I'm going to feel like I turn that steering wheel to my right slightly. So my thumbs will point at a 30 to 45 degree angle. If I then bring it down, just take a look at how my arms are positioned. My left shoulder's a little bit more forwards, right shoulder's back. My bicep and the front part of my elbow here is sort of pointing at a 45 degree angle. My right arm, the bicep's pointing in front of me, and then from there, the front of the elbow is pointing in front of me. Now, if I relax, where do my hands twist? Back to the left. If I did that with a golf club, that's going to allow me to close the face. That's also going to allow me to get this release where the forearms can roll, which is what every top player does. Versus so many amateurs, they've got that steering wheel neutral, or if anything, turned to their left. If I now relax it, that's opening up the club face. That's that look right there. That's that look at impact. So you've got the steering wheel version, or you can sort of break it down with each arm. Set up to the golf ball, hang the left arm straight down, make a thumbs up sign, and twist it into roughly a 30, 45 degree angle. The more you turn the arm, so you're not moving the arm, you're just turning it, the stronger the grip's going to be. So if I then grip it from that position, you can see bicep, elbow pit, off at a 45. Here's the kicker. This is the great one. Trail arm. Point your palm away from you, bring it across. You can see the bicep, elbow pit pointing in front of me. Keep the arm in that position and then bring your hand back. Now, whose arm structure does that look like? Hogan.
Mr. Hogan, yes,
Mr.
sir.
Hogan. You'll see Max Homa. You'll see so many golfers like this, because now if I just let this club swing, I'm not even trying to release the club. It's just doing it naturally.
Yeah.
And this is where so much of the swing can be tackled with good fundamentals.
Can you go in there and kind of do the setup and then pop one out from there again?
Yeah, of course.
So good, dude. So when he does that, beautiful strike, a little draw, when he does that, it does look like Ben Hogan, but it also looks a whole heck of a lot. Let's do another one. It also looks a whole heck of a lot like all the good golfers I see. The pit of the lead arm pointing 45 is such a good reference point. Having the arm and shaft in a line, but that right trail arm with this elbow pit pointed away, like Giles said, keep the upper arm where it is, kind of rotate the bottom part of the arm to get your grip. You should be able to a lot of times see a little bit of the left forearm in front of the right, the shoulders maybe a tick closed at setup. That makes so many good things happen later on. You said that so beautifully, and it almost seems too simple, kind of like what we talked about the club face. I hope that hits home. Let's hit one more.
For sure.
We're gonna add a little layer to this.
And the great thing is, with my arm in this position, if I fold it, it stays in front of me. My arm's this way, goes behind me. How many times do you see that?
That's dropping bombs. Come on. Yeah, beauty, dude. Really nice. So the setup bit, right? Let's flip-flop. The setup bit of it is like, all of this is designed to make things easier earlier on.
Yeah.
So there's less to do later.
Yeah.
You know what I've never heard someone say to me when they came in for a lesson? Hey, Eric, let's do a lot of stuff early, so I have to do a lot of work later.
Never heard that.
Okay? You know what I hear a lot is like, hey, I'd love to be able to not think as much on the way down, not try as hard, make this easier. Logically, there's only one way to do that, which is to do the good early, right? To do the good stuff early on. So the setup piece covers a lot of it. Covers a lot of it.
I'd say about 80% of it.
So the 80% is getting set up well, like we just went through. You may feel, again, from the down the line angle, that right arm might be a little bit softer, might be a little bit more under. I kind of like the sensation of taking my elbow and trying to feel like I point that a little bit more towards my stomach, right? Just like having that in just a little bit, right arm under the left. That presets closing the face to the shaft for the shaft lean. Now, having said that, there is the 20%. There's a chance, like, have you seen a golfer who sets up well and then makes an error later on? Of course.
For sure.
Right? It's just much less likely.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I would do as a quick, easy reference point for that, one of the things Giles talks about in a lot of the videos is, you know, you've heard in videos about the importance of, or trying to feel like you're closing the face on the way down, and that motorcycle move.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of players struggle, and you might struggle to be able to feel that, closing the face later on. So to avoid that trouble, to avoid having to feel like you do a lot of that work on the way down, get the setup right, but also make sure that the face stays adequately closed to the shaft on the way back. Adequately closed, like he mentioned, is kind of the toe in front of the heel, face to the left of the shaft. How do we do that on the way back? I really love a simple trail hand reference point. So when we go back, a nice closed club face, less work on the way down, is feeling like your right palm points down slightly. It's angled, right? It's down and away. Down slightly during the takeaway, and then a little bit more away from you at the top of the backswing. Now, if I put the club in with my good setup, if I keep the right palm pointed down, where does that face go? Also pointed down slightly, right? Toe in front of the heel. Now, if I take that and feel like my right palm and club face point a little bit more away from me, kind of towards the camera, that would again have that club face in a beautiful position where there's much less to do for me to be able to deliver that shaft lean and impact. Conversely, the bad, if I went palm up, right, palm towards me, would obviously palm up is face open, palm towards me, face open. No way I'm gonna get shaft lean because I'd hit it a mile right, or I've got a lot of work to do on the way down.
Yeah, now one of my favorite coaches on the planet is Pete Cowan. Pete Cowan is phenomenal. His track record in terms of players is, it speaks for itself.
Not bad.
Now, one of the things Pete promotes is the spinning of the trail arm. And I've watched videos of him explain it. And one of the things that I see a lot of people say is, I get the concept, but I can't quite feel it. Eric, if you do that one more time for me, by simply focusing on the trail arm and you going to the top and feeling that palm point down to the ground. So there, palm points up at the top of the backswing, like holding a tray, and then come down and just feel like that palm points back down.
Yeah.
That's it right there. And if you preset that arm in the correct position of the dress, it's gonna happen a lot more naturally.
Yeah, love that. It's like down, kind of up or away, down again.
And you can apply then the pressure downwards as you hit the ball. That's your shaft lean, that's your compression, that's your good contact.
I like that. I'm gonna hit one here. So kind of feeling the left arm rotated 45, the right elbow pits away from me. So I'm working from under. I'm gonna feel a little bit of the right palm down, right palm away. This should close the face, give me what I need to get good shaft lean and good compression without a lot of work on the downswing.
That's beautiful right there.
Yeah, there we have it. Good strike, maybe a 5-yard draw. Very good ball flight. We would take that every time. That's a good place to start, right? Good golfers know this, whether they logically think about it or not. They do this in their swing, right? They sort of unknowingly know this. These are the pieces we need. We have to close the face to shaft to get the shaft lean. Shaft lean is non-negotiable if you want to hit it good. You look at any good player at impact versus setup. The higher the handicap, the more back the shaft goes at impact. Got to get those. Giles Gill, appreciate you coming out. First things first.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to put a link to his YouTube channel down below. Awesome videos, awesome online coaching. Thank you guys for watching as always.